lack thereof. We were simply rebelling against having such an awful man direct us down the wrong path. We felt as though it was our right to have strong mentors and leaders in order for us to succeed, and frankly, Mr. Bizzano was not one of those leaders. It made a lot of people in class very angry and upset, and some of the students' parents even voiced their concerns via telephone conversations with the school principal. We were rebelling against a system of learning that was teaching the wrong thing, and in theory, I believe that was a justifiable act. Yet the act of actually rebelling felt unsatisfying. Some of the moments were thrill-packed and humorous, but soon afterwards came a rush of regret. After all, this was a man with a family working long hours to put food on the table for his wife and kids. We were only making his life harder by being ridiculously insubordinate. It was a bittersweet victory for our class when we learned that Bizzano would no longer be teaching AP calculus in the future years. I'm still not sure what to make of the situation.
Why are you still not sure? I mean, it's you at least are even in terms of representing this. Pretty harsh what you guys were doing to him, and yet also seemingly somewhat unprofessional. What was going on from his end of things, or as I hear, if you're cell phoning in class or whatever his techniques were. What do you think is the best way to handle a situation like that?
Well, I mean, I guess, obviously, like, being that, or, like, acting like that isn't really fair to anybody, but, I don't know, like, I guess, I don't know if I was the only one that felt bad about it, just because, like, you know, he's a person, you know.
Yeah, he's shared that.
Yeah, he's not just, like a
wasn't intending you harm.
Yeah.
He might not have been very good at what he was doing, but it doesn't sound like. One of the things about evil we didn't talk about yet, which we need to, is evil involves some motive, some intent, some wish to injure. And I don't know if what you're describing to me manifests that motive. He might not have been very strong at what he did, but I don't know if it was his intent to bring you down. What might be some of the ways, we can talk about this, we don't have to just talk with you, Ryan. What might be some of the ways, more edifying ways perhaps, to redress a situation that felt so untenable that it caused you to rebel in fairly harsh ways, right? Any thoughts on that?
Well, it's not like you can just go to the administration and say this teacher's not that great, can we get a new one? Because if you're doing that, you're also risking his mental health or whatever. That in a similar way, maybe not as aggressively, but I mean, just I think you might have the same effect of like sort of like tormenting him by like fearing his job security. So I don't know if there is really an easy way to go about the problem.
We do have the academic dean. Do you have some thoughts about how you would approach a situation like that where kids are really getting angry and acting out, and
To me, no, not an easy answer. Treat as you suggest. I don't think there's an easy answer, but you think about Holderness right now. We got young teachers, right, and they're probably doing things that they could improve upon. So what I'm encouraging them to do is to kind of take the pulse of a class, right? Occasionally, if a teacher say, "Listen, how's it going?" You could say, "It would be going better if you would leave your phone at home," right? And that probably would improve things, and also give you the sense that there's some sort of respectful accord between teacher and student.
So you're not like going behind his back.
Yeah, actually, I was going to ask you, Pete, as an intermediary there. Ryan mentioned the parents, responding to the school, and sometimes things can escalate out of control. And there has to be some reasonable way where you can get the poison out without it turning toxic.
Yeah, he would get like frustrated because there were so many phone calls, and he would like get angry at us for some reason. I don't know why. He'd be like angry at us because our parents were calling about how bad of a teacher he was. So then he'd be like worse to us.
And of course, it sounds like you mutually, a large number of you felt the way that you did. So for him to isolate one of you and say, "Hey, I'm going to deal with you, and you know, I want you to head out and see the principal or whatever. He's dealing with all of you guys. Do you really feel like you were that much smarter than this guy? All
No,
of you
not
guys?
me personally, but like,
But I mean, do people feel they were smarter than this guy? Because most teachers actually do have, you know, more life experience and more. It may not seem like it with those kinds of things going on, but when enmity gets tapped, it just becomes a manifestation of that, as opposed to maybe bringing out whatever's the best in that teacher.
well, there are two. I'll take an example. There's two twins who are in the class named the Majumdars, and their dad is a physics teacher at Williams, and he's been teaching them calculus since they were young. So they're literally like geniuses.
Ouch, yeah.
But they're kind of mischievous, so they would do, you know, stuff like that. And
public school, that's another issue, right? Public school can fund a certain amount in the way of educational offerings, and Massachusetts in particular probably has some challenges there with, you know, not just the academic classroom, but the arts.